do on Casey?
Casey is going to see a specialist today, so we'll have information after that. We did move him, as you saw, to an IR, which helped create a spot for UPL. Obviously, we didn't expect Casey back within 7 days, so we opened that spot, put UPL in there, and we'll wait till we have the information from the doctor he sees today to see what the next step is.
Malcolm's still trending in the right direction?
He is. He had another good day this morning, so I'll talk to our training staff after the players clear out here and see where he sits after today.
The loss of Casey only after a few games is tough for a number of reasons. Particularly, down the middle, it's a big hit. Do you plan on maybe leaning more on Tage and Dylan? Now that you just lost a guy who's going to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Tage has progressed through the season and continues to progress. That's positive, and Dylan has been on a surge. I mean, he was a guy that I think everybody in the room here watched him close, had such high expectations for him at the start of the season, as you do any player that has the potential he has, and we were all waiting for him to get going, and he has. He's been on a 7-8 game surge here to a new level, career high level for him. So it's nice that those two are still trending very well in the right direction. You're not going to replace Mitzi because Mitzi's on our team. I mean, so you don't replace that. He's coming back at some point, and you do what you can until he gets back. But it's not like Mitzi's lost a spot here. So you don't replace that. You do what you have to in the interim, and those are definitely two guys to lean on.
How has Dylan's emergence offensively brought out more from Kyle, too, I guess?
Yeah, I know you guys just had Kyle in here, so I'm sure he spoke highly of Dylan. But Dylan is just he's starting to see the game in different ways that he never saw before, and he's manipulating situations in different ways than he ever thought he could and thought of, and he looks like he's enjoying it and having fun with it, and it's fun to watch. So he right now, you just see he goes into situations and he's like, I'm going to get out of this situation. I welcome it. There's no stress to it anymore. I think a couple of weeks ago the situation stressed him out. You saw anxiety, and there's none right now, and it's awesome to see. So I think, and having him paired with Oki, I mean, my thought when I did that was, Oki's been through any ups and downs Dylan could go through. Oki's been through in his career, and so he's very stabilizing, and he has offensive IQ as Dylan does, and they've been really good together. I think Oki's been a mentor to a lot of guys, but I think the last couple of weeks he's done a great job, and Dylan has too. They've done a great job together.
As far as Kyle goes, I mean, people think of him as a 20-goal, 15-point guy, and he transitioned into a different role kind of the last few years. But what's allowed him overall to get back to kind of being that, consistent offensive threat that he was several years ago?
I think, that's a good question. I mean, I can't speak for years ago with Kyle, other than, we all know, he has been a top NHL player through lots of his career, and he's a guy that Kyle takes a lot of responsibility even for things he really shouldn't. He puts a lot of pressure on himself, and an example, if you're on a struggling team, he's fully engaged in trying to help and fix that, and that takes away from his game sometimes, especially as your career, you're later in your career, you're older, you're 30 years old and plus, you don't have the luxury of your youth anymore. So now you're still taking on all this extra pressure, and sometimes it distracts you from your game, or it takes you out of your game. And I think what Kyle has become more efficient at, still helping the team the way he's passionate about his team, his teammate. He still helps them tremendously, like I said, about Dylan and myself, even as a coach. But he's learned to not allow that to take away from what he's got to do for himself. And that focus and that internal drive, we're seeing more of that. It's easier and more evident for everybody to see that he's got that back. And the better we are around him, the easier it is for him to do that. And I think that's been the case. He's comfortable with things around him more. He feels like he doesn't have to take as much responsibility because guys are showing more responsibility around him, is what I see happening. And it's allowed him to just focus on his game more.